Okay, now I want to turn the page and discuss something that I see happen in our society as a whole just so often that it seems so obvious to me, but people get wrapped up in it so much that I feel like it's kind of like I can't see the forest for the trees situation. And it's what I'm going to start referring to as division-causing events. So a DCE. Now, if you think somebody else has coined that phrase already, let me know, and I'll apologize. But until I hear otherwise, this is something that I have come up with in my own brain, and you may think it's basic, and you're correct, it is basic. Division-causing events. Okay, so a division-causing event is something that pits two sides against each other for the benefit of someone, something, some ideal, okay? The one that's been most recent is obviously the division between, did you watch Bad Bunny at the halftime show, or did you watch the TPUSA event? Now, prior to this actually happening, I didn't see a ton of stuff in my feed on Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever. I didn't see a ton of stuff. Like, everybody was kind of like, I'm going to do my thing, right? You like Bad Bunny, you like his stuff, then you're going to watch him. You like, more like American Christian type, show, then, you're going to watch that. It was no big deal, it felt like, at the time. And then there started to become this shift. And the shift came after, like almost immediately after the halftime show, where people are posting, what a great TPUSA event, right? I see a lot of that. What a great TPUSA event. That was, great concert, great message, Kid Rock's transformation from kid to man. I mean, the whole night, right? So like, I'm seeing a lot of that. And then I'm also seeing the other side, which was not people posting what a great Bad Bunny halftime show. I'm seeing vitriol towards the people that are watching the TPUSA event. So it's like, you must be racist. And so it's like a full-on attack of you for choosing to watch something different. All right? So I went to social media, and what's funny is, like, I'll go to social media, like, most of the time whenever I'm on anything, it's essentially just pictures of my family, and like me bragging about stuff like that, because I'm very proud of my family and I love them very much. And it's also fun to like post pictures and then like see them come up in my memories later. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids have grown, so, that's the bulk of my social media presence. But I posted a question and I wanted a response. And then I had somebody like actually say in the comments, like, I think you're just trying to egg people on to get, like, stuff for your podcast and like content. And when she said that, I was like, first, like, oh my gosh, you actually know about my podcast? Maybe I'll listen to it, but, I felt famous for a second. And then secondly, I thought, hey, that is a killer idea. Why don't I talk about this? Okay. So first off, what I'm going to do is just kind of like give you what I put, and then I'm just going to kind of discuss some of the responses, because it's pretty crazy, like the dichotomy between pro and anti and where everybody lands. But I think it's an overarching theme that not everybody catches on to because they're so dug in on their side, right? Okay, so I posted, serious question, I need a response if you have one. I've seen so many posts on my feed about how people are anti-Bad Bunny, anti-love, anti-Spanish music, people, whatever, and I'm trying to figure out where this is coming from. I've seen no post in my feed bashing anything or negative comments about the Bad Bunny halftime show, which is official. And I'm not just, like, you would think that, like, me as a Christian conservative, that the bulk of my feed would be from people that think like me, and they're just not posting it. Nobody was bashing this. And I say, to be clear, when I say in my feed, I'm talking about people I'm friends with, not digital creators who have a follow beside their name. Not famous people. I've seen several people say they enjoyed it. I've seen several people say they enjoyed the TPUSA show. That being said, if you have someone in your feed that you know personally that is bashing the Bad Bunny show, screenshot it and drop it here. I've seen plenty of people bashing the fact that others preferred the TPUSA show, so I don't need those. I'm curious, if you see someone saying they enjoyed the TPUSA show, do you interpret that as anti-Bad Bunny? Have you considered why you think that? I'm going to suggest that this is another example of the division playbook, or what I've now coined as a division-creating event. Keep people divided, drive animosity, generate votes and revenue for one side or the other. It happens both ways. If you're scrolling and you see a liberal personality saying MAGA people hate Bunny, right? And then you keep scrolling and you see I posted that I enjoyed Kid Rock's performance, you're conditioned by your feed to assume that I hate Bad Bunny, I hate Spanish people, and I don't want anybody besides white people in America. And it's just not the case. The same could go the other way as well. As a conservative personality, like let's say they say Bad Bunny is un-American, and then you scroll and see somebody that say they enjoyed the NFL halftime show, are you then conditioned to think they must be anti-America, anti-ICE, anti-Trump? Don't get played. I really don't think this is as deep as everyone is making it out to be. I chose, and this is for real, I chose to watch a Beavis and Butthead special in the early 90s over Travis Tritt. That did not mean that I hate country music or I don't like country people. I was really just into Beavis and Butthead at the time, right? Cornholio? Come on. Now, some people enjoyed the multicultural experience. Others preferred American Christian-themed production. And I just think people need to chill out a little, enjoy what you like. That's enough. There's other stuff like going on that is deeper than this, right? Okay, so I had a lot of feedback on this. I had responses from 3 different military service members. I had responses from the typical liberal talking heads on my page that, like to, voice their argument. And then I had, several that are just kind of like indifferent, right? I watched this because some people are like, I watched the Bad Bunny because I just didn't change the channel, right? I knew about the TPUSA show, but I didn't really know where to find it, so I didn't go to it, right? No big deal, right? No big deal. I had other people say, I love TPUSA. This is the one I wanted to watch because I most closely identify with that, being, pro-America, pro-Christian, and I can identify with that. That's why I went that route. I had other people say, of course you don't have to understand Spanish, just move with the beat. I get it. But it's a little deeper than that, right? Because they're also like, all he wanted to do was get across a story or a picture or a vision of unity and love, all right? If you're trying to unify everybody, then you don't segregate somebody else, right? And that's what everybody is like on here saying, that and I say everybody, the ones that are opposed to the TPUSA event, is that it's like we're going back to separate water fountains. And this is just asinine in my opinion. But, I have some people say it's good versus evil. Simple as that. I believe in that. I had somebody say, I didn't watch it because I was sick and asleep. What does that make me? My reply to her was easy. Racist. Obviously, I'm kidding. I don't think she's racist. Chill out, everybody. Okay, I have some people say I didn't watch either show. Okay, cool. I have a service member reply, he's not anti-Spanish. He didn't watch it because he knows why they did it. It's division causing. He's absolutely correct. It is division causing. This was basically a political spectacle about deportations and anti-ICE. I agree with that. If you don't agree with that, examine that. You know that that's what this was. Bad Bunny has become wealthy off of America, and so have many, yet they bash the laws that keep this a safe and secure place for immigrants to come legally. I'm all for immigration legally. All for it. There's no country in the world you can go into and set up shop, make millions and billions, and not be a legal citizen. This is accurate. I serve this country, so I know what it takes to keep a country safe. We appreciate that. I know the sacrifices that were made, and I've seen lives lost to protect this piece of land. So anyone throwing a fit needs to remember why we have these freedoms. Bad Bunny was placed into a show that was on American soil and did a show all in Spanish in a country where mainly immigrants speak that language. So he's obviously playing to an audience, right? This is not, we can't act like this isn't the case, but this is what's happening because this was to make division, to drive division. Have you ever seen Russia, China, or Germany go into a different non-speaking country and protest their laws and do a full concert in their language only? It's division, and I'm anti-hate and anti-division. 100%. I appreciate that. I had another person say, I watched the Bad Bunny halftime show. Wasn't my cup of tea. That's very accurate. Very accurate statement. Very what probably a lot of people felt. And I'll also say this. Like last year, it was Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar was not everybody's cup of tea, right? But he was out there rapping, doing his show. It was a good show. But what did that show do too? That show drove a division between are you a Kendrick Lamar person or are you a Drake person? This is like something that has been happening forever. Are you a Coke person or are you a Pepsi person? Right? Why was Twilight so popular? Are you Team Edward or are you Team Jacob? Right? And so to battle that out, people go and buy the t-shirts, right? They buy the DVDs. They go see the movie. I'm an Edward person and I've seen the movie 6 times, right? This is just the division playbook, okay? Had somebody say, I'm old enough to remember the good old days when sports and politics weren't so intertwined. Absolutely. I had another service member say that he saw the other side. He said, I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about Cowboy Revolution apparel. Now, obviously, you've seen my cowboy hat on the cover of this podcast. And let's be real, when you hear cowboy, your mind jumps to the hat, the silhouette, the statement, but you're not always out roping cattle, right? You're navigating the concrete jungle or maybe just a chill Sunday morning headed to church. That's the gap Cowboy Revolution apparel fills. They're taking that iconic Western spirit and putting it into the clothes you actually live in. Starting with the gear that keeps your head warm and looks sharp, hats and hoodies. Their hoodies aren't just soft, they're substance. They're heavyweight fleece designed with a rugged durability that's rare these days. Think reinforced stitching, metal tipped drawstrings that fits you and lets you move. They're built to be your best friend when the temperature drops, whether you're fixing a fence or just hitting the coffee shop. These are the hoodies that get better, not bagged out with every wash. And the hats, we're talking about more than just your standard cap. They've got structured trucker hats with classic Western patches that pay respect to the ranching life. They've got wool caps for that vintage frontier look, and for those who want the full silhouette without the fuss, they offer premium, crushable felt hats that are easy to pack, but demand respect when you wear them. Every stitch, every buckle, every curve is deliberate. You don't have to wear a full Western rig to carry the grit of the West. Just throw in a Cowboy Revolution hoodie or a CR hat and you're good to go. It's about quiet confidence and uncompromising quality from a veteran-owned company. He'd like to offer a response as a person who served in the country for 20 years and many friends and relatives who serve and protect as well. Also a black man in this country. We appreciate your service as well, obviously. First and foremost, Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, therefore he's an American citizen, and the people of Puerto Rico are also American citizens. That's an accurate fact. That's an accurate statement, okay? Also, there are very large portions of this country that are illegal immigrants of Latino and Caribbean descent that are football fans like you and I, but also deserve representation in our sports and entertainment. Completely agree with that as well, right? If we're doing a unifying event, then everybody needs to be represented. And as a country of immigrants, because none of you or my ancestors are from this land, it's our ability to see, experience, and enjoy and support the cultures that make up these United States. Okay, I can get with that. He said, I see your comments above that say, I wish we could go back to the good old days. Okay, this is where he takes it a little out of context. And that would be great for you guys, referring to me as a white person and your people, white people. But there are people that are still struggling to fight for their fair shake, to be included, to be represented. The old days aren't so great. Okay, so let me clarify, and I did with him later on, and we're all good because I'm friends with this guy. This is the thing. I'm all about having conversations. We can talk through this stuff. There's a lot of common ground in everything. Like, not everybody has to be like so anti everyone. There's a lot of common ground here. I get what he's saying about, you know, the good old days being bad for some people. In my reference, I was talking about, I don't know, maybe the Backstreet Boys, or like Michael Jackson wasn't really making a statement, you know. Okay, he said, you know, obviously Puerto Ricans are American citizens. And then he said, so when there is a purposeful intent to undermine unity by offering segregation, which is what the TPUSA show did, they have their show, Let's Make One for Us. It makes a very clear statement. And that's where I push back, okay? I felt like, and he references later the Bad Bunny telephone or electric poles, right? This was like one of the symbolic statements. And people get on here and are explaining that it's because there was a Biden program that was going to put $1 billion into infrastructure for Puerto Rico that Trump has done away with. So by that statement, that's what they were representing, is Trump not giving them the money that they need for electrical infrastructure. Okay. And with that statement, with that symbolism, you take and discredit the entire event as being unifying. You cannot push your ideals on somebody else and say that this is unifying, because all you're saying is, as long as you agree with everything that I say and everything that I feel, and you affirm my beliefs, then we can be united. But if you don't, then you are racist, or you are homophobic, or you are anti-immigrant, right? Like, it's not black and white. This is not either A or B. There are multiple layers to this, okay? Yeah, me personally, I'm not into watching two dudes grind on each other at this show. I'm not into a public display that is blatantly anti, you know, ICE doing their job. I'm not into, you know, bagging on the administration for something that they did that was against you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not me, right? The Spanish speaking bit, okay, I couldn't understand it. That's not a huge deal to me. You know, we also have a DJ company. We DJ events all the time. That being said, I've only had Bad Bunny requested like once ever in my life, and I do all kinds of events for all kinds of people. So please understand that. Move to the music. Okay, yeah, salsa beat. Somebody said, you know, I saw somebody post about, like, you'll sit in a Mexican restaurant and wait on your food, but like you can't watch Bad Bunny. Well, I mean, I chose to go to the Mexican restaurant. I did not choose to watch Bad Bunny. So like, that's, you know, that's a little off. But ultimately what this was an effort at division. Okay. And it worked. It was a division play. What it all comes down to, by the way, nobody could screenshot a post of a conservative or somebody saying that they loved TPUSA and then like they hated Bad Bunny and everybody that watched it was bad people, right? Nobody had anything like that. I had two screenshots. One of them cut off the name of the person that posted it, and then the other one left the name on. And of course, it was a screenshot of Donald Trump's tweets. Look, guys, I can't even pretend to defend everything that Donald Trump says, right? Everybody's like, oh, you like Donald Trump, so you must be racist because he posted the video of the Obamas on, you know, the monkey bodies, which was actually a staffer and whatever. I mean, believe whatever you want to believe and affirm it however you need to. But, like, just because you voted for somebody doesn't mean you like carte blanche believe everything they say and go along with everything they say. This is something you have to understand. Like, people that voted for Biden, I'm sure were not proud of him falling like up the stairs, right? I'm sure they were not, like, if you ask them honestly, they weren't all for total open borders with no restrictions. Okay? They just weren't for it. And if they're telling you that, they're lying. And if they're telling you that, it's because they know what the reason is because open borders means more votes for Democrats that, you know, will keep the borders open. But, like, there was no post that I had on this that could screenshot somebody, like, just, you know, out and out bashing Bad Bunny or his show. But the most interesting one that I got was from somebody that was a journalism major, right? Journalism major in college. And, I'm on here and I'm very consistent, right? Like, show wasn't for me. Rather celebrate Christianity, rather celebrate America. It just wasn't for me. I do understand that it was a division-causing event, a DCE. But this person says, here's my extremely cynical take on it. I think 99.995% of it is completely manufactured drama to drive sales, views, and click-through rates. Both sides stir their followers up in a frenzy for their own personal political gain and push those easily led by their emotions to do, believe, and say things they otherwise wouldn't if left to their own rational decision-making with a full contextual understanding of a situation. Like, that's it, right? All this is to take advantage of those easily led by their emotions to do, believe, and say things they otherwise wouldn't if left to their own rational decision-making. So the bottom line is this. These things are going to happen all the time. Was I in on the Bad Bunny halftime show? Nah. I had another option, so I chose the other option, right? Now, next year, if they choose... Somebody said the answer to this is Nickelback. The answer to this is Nickelback, okay? I think that you could have Nickelback performing the halftime show sponsored by TPUSA. If you really want to unify people, that is what you need to do. But if you want to keep driving a wedge, keep acting like you're trying to unify people, and then hiring acts and making actions and doing things and posting bits that are divisive in the disguise of unification, and you'll just keep everybody divided. And we'll just stick with our Team Edward, Team Jacob, and we'll just keep, rolling right along. By the way, if liberal versus conservative was Team Edward versus Team Jacob, is Team Edward liberal or is he conservative? And is Team Jacob liberal or conservative? And don't think about that too hard, because then, what if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a conservative, but Team Edward is obviously liberal, so now I'm liberal. Just please continue to make your decisions on your own. This is just, funny thing to think about. But before we go, I will reiterate Nickelback to save the universe. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah, I've never used info from a Facebook conversation for anything on here, but man, what a good idea. To the person on my feed that suggested that, if there are any royalties to this, some of it will go to you. But if you get zero, it's because I get zero. Hey, you guys have a great day, and we will talk again.